Heckle Park, a new beginning, let's go. Started back rocking the brown. Ever since we've been knocking them down. Baby said she wanna go to the game. Taught her how to say Padre gang. Started back rocking the brown. Ever since we've been knocking them down. Mitchell and Ness with the old school name. All of the homies holler Padre gang. Yeah, that.
And good day, everybody. Welcome to the Braves and Padres Talking Friars pregame show for May 14th, 2022. I am your host, Ben Fadden, coming to you live before the game today. The first pitch of the middle of 3 games of this series, the middle game of this 3-game set, is at 1:05. The game is not on any streaming service. You don't have to deal with that today. It's on Valley Sports San Diego. It's on FS1. And, of course, on 97.3 The Fan on the radio, as always. So I believe Don is going to be back, and I think it's going to be Sweeney along with him. I could be wrong on that, but Don should be back. I know he was in Atlanta for that TBS game when the Padres were at home still playing the Cubs. But that's the situation in terms of the broadcast and first pitch. The pitching matchup today, we got Sean Manaea on the mound for the Padres, and then Charlie Morton on the mound for the Atlanta Braves. Manaea with a 3.75 ERA, Morton with a 5.65 ERA. As for last night, first game of the 3-game series on Apple TV Plus, obviously, it was a cool experience in terms of like the video. I thought, I have a review out, episode 162 of the Talking Friars podcast and YouTube shows out right now on this YouTube channel and on podcast platforms. Just giving my thoughts on the Apple TV broadcast, the play-by-play and the analyst, the sideline reporter, the screen, the video, the cameras I thought were cool. I gave my thoughts on some of the things that they were talking about. There were some things that were wrong in the broadcast that kind of irked me a little bit. But overall, I thought it was a pretty good broadcast. And then the Padres, obviously, that was a good win. Now, not all aspects of the win were great, but I thought it was a good win overall because guess what? The offense showed up against Max Fried. And when that happens, you have a good chance of winning. And yeah, Robert Suarez did not pitch well, but Yu Darvish pitched well. He only gave up 2 runs. I know it was 5 earned, but it was only 2 because Myers' error, which they called a hit because they're in Atlanta, that ended up costing Darvish and actually giving runs to Darvish that actually weren't his runs. That shouldn't have been earned runs. And then Suarez struggled, but Myers had a home run. Grisham came through late. Kim had a home run. Voit had a 2-hit game. I think Manny was like the only Padre that didn't get a hit last night. And so my Padre pick was Ha-Seong Kim, the first time that I had picked him all year. And boom, hits a home run. Got that right. So I think I'm like 21-10 right now so far, my Padre pick. And so I'll give my pick a little bit later in the show, as the Padres are facing the right-hander Charlie Morton. And remember, last time Manny had a 5-hit game off of him. Padres smashed him. That was opening night. The last time that the Padres had faced Morton was opening night, Padres home opening night, when they scored like 12 runs or something. CJ Abrams had a home run. So hopefully they can do that again. But yeah, today's a regular broadcast. The Padres entering today's game, they're in first place, tied in first place in the National League West because the Dodgers did lose last night to the Phillies. So there's no games back, obviously. Tied with the Dodgers for first. The Braves are third place in the National League East. They are 6.5 games back after last night's loss. As for the pitching matchup, again, Manaea and Morton. Manaea, he's gone back-to-back starts with 2 earned runs allowed. He has not allowed more than 2 runs in all but one of his starts this year, and obviously that one start was against the Dodgers, that big clunker that he had, where Bellinger and Freeman hit home runs off of him. In that last start that he had this year against the Marlins, he gave up that 1 home run to A-Rod's nephew, Joe Dunand, to left field, but I thought he was pretty solid overall, and you expect every time out, it feels like you're just expecting Manaea to have a quality start because that's pretty much what we've seen so far this year. And the coaching staff is not afraid to let him go, let him work out his stuff. And then for Charlie Morton, He shut out the Brewers his last start, but he's allowed 3 or more runs in the 4 starts before that. And then obviously he gave up those 5 runs against the Padres in that home opener. One of those players that was able to get hits off Morton was C.J. Abrams, and Abrams obviously is not with the team. He's in the minors. So that's going to be one less guy that Morton's going to have to worry about, but he's also going to have to pitch now to Ha-Seong Kim, who's been hitting well. And we could actually move into that right now. First, we can talk about the bullpen situation a little briefly here. There's not like a ton to talk about when it comes to it because everyone had that day off on the 12th. And so, yeah, you see Rogers, Garcia, Wilson, Suarez, they all pitched yesterday. But like Garcia was 12 pitches. I think they'd be willing to give him back-to-back days. Rogers, he can pitch back-to-back days. We've already seen it this year. And then Wilson, I think, can as well. Suarez off the bad outing. I don't know if they'll do that. And then you have Chris Matt, Stammen, and Kerr. Those 3 guys, it seems like they just wait until there's a game that probably isn't going to be in their favor, and then they pitch them. But, right now you have a 7-man bullpen. That's not ideal. When Blake's on Tuesday, like it's going to happen against the Nunez is going to move to the bullpen, you would think. And then you'd have, I heard Kevin Acey say that Gore is probably going to be that 6th man of the rotation. So it would be Darvish, Musgrove, Manaea, Clev, Snell, and Gore. That's probably what they're going to run with. And then Martinez go to the bullpen, so that'll give him an extra arm. It's kind of like a Chris Matt. So that'll be good. And I think that they can survive with the 7-man bullpen right now until that happens, because they have guys like Taylor Rogers who can pitch back-to-back days or 3 times in a row. They have Steven Wilson who can do that. They have Chris Matt who can go pitch 3 innings if they need him to. Same with Stammen. I know that Stammen might not be as effective as Chris Matt, but in terms of innings, you can do that. Ray Kerr, they haven't really pitched him that much, but he's pitched back-to-back days before this season. The last time, the 9th, I think that was back-to-back days. I think he pitched in the minors the day before that, and then came up and then pitched that day as well. Or no, it might have been before that because I think it was 14 pitches back-to-back days. So I think it was before that, but he's done it before. So I think with the bullpen, some of the arms that they have, that can help them survive these next few days before they probably get an 8th guy in the bullpen in Nick Martinez. And they can also survive because of the starters that they have, right? They have Manaea who can go 6-7 innings if they need him to. They have Joe Musgrove going to tomorrow, and he can obviously go 7 innings if they need him to. So I wouldn't be too worried about getting through the bullpen or get, the bullpen not being in great shape because of the starting pitching that they have, and starting pitching that has already proved this season that they can go 6-7 innings if they're pitching well and if need be. All right. I'll get to your comments. I'll get to your questions. Don't worry. I always do. But I want to get through this, my pregame show part of it. As for the lineups today, here we go. So for the Padres, first glance looks the same until you get to the 8-9 spots. As last night, Crony leading off, Profar, Machado, Haas, Voit, Myers. Myers had that home run yesterday. Kim had the home run yesterday. Then Grisham hitting 8th. He came through with that pinch hit, big double, bases clearing double late in the game that made it 11-6. That was the final. Corey Alfaro batting 9th, catching Manaea today. And so there's not too much to take away. I mean, it's the same pretty much lineup. Luke Voit continuing to stay hot. He's had, 5 hits in his last 2 games, 2 home runs on Wednesday, 2 hits yesterday. So all is good, it seems like, right now with Voit. I know he had at least 1 strikeout yesterday where he was trying to hit it out of the stadium, and he swung and missed big, but that's just who Voit is. So hopefully he continues to barrel up some balls because that's pretty much what he's doing right now. And then Kim swinging the bat well. Profar, I don't really know when they're going to take him out of that 2-hole because I think they like him being able to switch hit. And so, like with a lefty on the mound, or excuse me, a righty on the mound in Morton today, they can have Profar hit lefty, and so they have a lefty before Manny. And then you can have Manny split up the lefties, Profar and Hodge. You can have Manny split up those two. So I think they like having a switch hitter there. And Profar usually has a good at bat. It's just his average has dipped down. He's swinging at pitches that are outside the strike zone. And sometimes when he does that, it leads to a good at bat, quote unquote, a good at bat because it's taking pitch count. It's increasing the pitcher's pitch count, but he's not swinging at the best pitches. Then when you look at the Atlanta order, looks a lot of the same guys. Dansby hitting 7th, Contreras with the home run last night hitting 8th. He's DHing, and he's going to get a lot of playing time with, I think it's Manny Pena, I think, is out for the year. So Wilson's brother is going to get a lot of playing time for them. Demerit had like 3 hits yesterday. Got thrown out by Profar early in the game. When are they going to learn to not run on Profar? Then Olsen, Albies, Ozuna, d'Arnaud, Heredia down there at the 9-hole. Austin Riley seems a little lost at the plate right now. But those are the lineups for today. And then for my what to watch fors, Cano, will he get an at-bat? I don't think so. I was reading, I forget who. It was someone writing for The Athletic. It wasn't Dennis Lynn, but it was someone else. And they were talking about how Cano might not get an at-bat the first few days. He needs to get, gelled in and, be ready for those at-bats. And so someone asked me on Twitter, or they were quote tweeted the bullpen chart today, and they were asking how, why is Alcantara still up here when Cano is on the roster? Wouldn't it be better to have a 8th reliever instead of only 7 and take Alcantara off because you have Cano here? Well, what I replied to that was maybe they're waiting for Cano to be ready, and so they want Alcantara to still be on the bench to be able to go fill in late in the game or if an injury happens, and he'd be better ready than Cano. That would be my guess. Cano hasn't faced Major League hitting in a few weeks because he was DFA'd, and he was in the Dominican before coming back to the United States to play for the Padres in Atlanta. And then another what to watch for, can Myers and Kim stay hot? Myers with the home run. I guess you can add Voit to that conversation as well. And then Ha-Seong Kim, he's had better at-bats. He's been hitting a lot of balls on the screws. A lot of them have been caught, but obviously he hit the home run yesterday. But before that, I think it was one at-bat before that, he hit a liner to right field, I want to say. But it was right to the right fielder. So he's been hitting balls on the screws, and will that continue today? My Padre pick yesterday, I had Ha-Seong Kim. He went 3 for 5. That was the first time I picked him this year. So I'm 21-10 so far in my pregame show Padre pick. Again, if you're new to the pregame show, my Padre pick is the one Padre. If I had to pick one guy that I think will get a hit, who is that? And I'm going to pick Ha-Seong Kim, or I picked Kim yesterday. Today I'm picking Manny. He had 5 hits that last game that Morton pitched. They weren't all off Morton, but he had that 5-hit day when Morton was pitching. And so far in his career off Charlie Morton, he's hitting 506 at-bats. I know it's a small sample size, but Manny didn't have a hit yesterday, so by his standards, I think he's probably due. That's what I would say. So that's my pregame show Padre pick. Before we get to some comments, there's some MLB news and notes here, some matchups. Obviously, the Dodgers lost yesterday. The Yankees continue to mash. Stanton had another home run yesterday. I think Judge had one as well. I think he leads the American League in home runs. Let's see here. The Astros acquired Mauricio Dubon from the Giants earlier today. I saw that come across my alerts. Just seeing here, just looking at anything I missed. Harper's still injured, obviously. He's not going to throw for like 4 weeks, but he's still DHing, and it doesn't matter. He went 3 for 4 with 2 doubles and a home run last night in the Phillies' 12-10 win over the Dodgers in 10 innings. So if there's an MVP right now, other than Manny, he has to be somewhere up there with Nolan, right? I mean, when you're playing, obviously with pain, you can't throw, but you're DHing every day. You're still going out there and DHing and hitting home runs left and right off of the Dodgers. I think that's 2 straight nights for Bryce with a home run in consecutive nights. That's amazing. That is amazing. He's one of my favorite players for anyone that knows me personally. He's always been ever since he debuted. I know his first home run in the big leagues came off of Tim Stoffer to center field, but I've always liked him. Just loved the energy that he plays with, the swag that he plays with. So it's good to see him play well, and it's really good to see him play well, obviously, against the Dodgers. And so, and other National League West action today, the Giants are playing in St. Louis at 11:15 a.m. The Diamondbacks host the Cubs at 5:10. Colorado hosts the Royals also at 5:10, and then the Dodgers host the Phillies. That's the night game tonight at 7:10. So that's the National League West matchups. Let's see, are there any other matchups that are interesting? I mean, White Sox Yankees is, but the Yankees have owned that series so far. The Yankees are amazing right now. I mean, they are just hitting on all cylinders. The starting rotation's really good. The Yankees are 24-8 right now. I mean, my goodness, they're 10-4 away. They're 14-4 at home. They're doing really. Their run differentials plus 66, easily the best in the American League, and the second best in baseball. The Dodgers have the best run differential at plus 74. And just imagine this: the Padres and the Dodgers are tied for first place in the National League West, and their run differential is. Let me do some quick math here. Their run differential is 61 runs apart. The Dodgers' run differential is plus 74, so they've scored 74 more runs than they've given up this year. The Padres' run differential is plus 13. Yet they have the same, they hold the same standing in the division. They're both in first place. So that's amazing. That just shows how great the pitching has been for the Padres, if we're being honest. Because the offense hasn't scored that many runs, but the pitching staff has carried the Padres so far. Obviously, along with Manny and Kim, or as of late, Kim and Hosmer. So that's a little fascinating for me. Tupac 13, how's it going? Michael, how's it going? Just going through the comments here before we get out of here. Again, this is the Padres versus Braves Talking Friars pregame show for May 14th, 2022. Irie, our offense woke up the moment those two came back. I'm not saying they're the only offense. I'm saying a more well-rounded lineup will throw pitchers off. I think she's talking about Voit and Myers. Yeah, and you saw it last night, right? Voit with 2 hits, Myers with the home run. Is there strikeout in both of those bats? Of course there is. But they do have power, and they do have extra base hit potential. And when that happens, you can't say that doesn't help the team, and it's obviously better than having to put Jose Azocar out there, right? Or having Trace Thompson up here and getting one hit when he was in the big leagues. So, yeah, it's a big addition to the lineup. Eric Hosmer is just better, says, isn't Acuna back from an injury? How come I haven't seen him? Yeah, I saw him on the bench yesterday. He's not in the lineup today. Yeah, it looks like he's injured. He left the Braves Wednesday night game against the Red Sox with groin soreness, so it looks like it's a groin issue. Irie says, I think Haas should be a DH. We all seen when he makes a defensive error, it messes him up mentally. Let's keep him hot. Well, the thing is, they can't really do that right now. I mean, I guess they could if you want Voit at first, but they don't want Voit at first, right? They're trying to keep him healthy. And let's say you put Cronenworth at first, and you put Kim at second, who's going to play short, right? Cano's not ready to play yet, according, it seems like, to the Padres, because they didn't give him an at-bat yesterday. It doesn't look like he's going to get an at-bat today. Maybe he gets one tomorrow. But I don't think they think that Cano's ready to go play the field right now. So right now, I don't think that's an option. And partly because I don't think they want Voit at first base every day. I think they want him there sparingly to give Hosmer a day off his feet, just still have his bat in the lineup. But I don't think they want Voit out there at first base every day. I think they want it to keep him healthy and minimize that injury risk. Yeah, Michael, yeah, you're right. Manny probably felt a little relief not having to supply all the offense yesterday. It is a good day when you score 11 runs, right? And you don't have I don't think Manny had a hit last night. And you see Kim homer, you see Myers homer, you have Voit have 2 hits. You see Grisham come off the bench with a double over Ozuna's head. A lot of guys were contributing. And so, yeah, you can't carry the team the entire year, Even Tony Gwynn, when he was hitting 394, okay, he's getting out 40% of the time, So you can't carry a team every day. So, yeah, it definitely helps. Do Zertry 619. What's up, Ben? Had to be Melvin when Tatis comes back. Where do you put everyone? What? I don't really know if I understand the question. When Tatis comes back, where do you put everyone? I'll answer that question. Tatis is at short, Manny's at third, Cronenworth's at second, Haas is at first, Kim is off the bench. That's probably what you would do. If Kim stays hot, okay, you could justify putting Kim at second, Cronenworth at first to have the best defensive infield, and then you have Hosmer or Voit DHing. But what happens if Voit and Hosmer are both hot? I guess that's a good problem to have if Kim, Hosmer, and Voit are all hot. I think that they still want Cronenworth in there for his defense, even if he's struggling a little bit. But I guess if Cronenworth does struggle and Voit, Hosmer, and Kim are hot, then you could see Cronenworth be on the bench. But they don't like putting Cronenworth just not on the field at all. I don't like that personally either. So I guess it'll be a good problem to have when Tatis comes back. Tatis is obviously playing, so that's a duh. Obviously that's going to happen. Alex Silva says, hopefully not, but we will be surprised if the Padres only score 1 or 2 runs the next 2 games. Then they scored 10 plus, then go cold. That's what it seems like across the league, though, unless you're like the Yankees or the Dodgers, right? You have this big game, and then it's like, dang, they should have saved some of those runs from yesterday for today, right? That's pretty much what happens across the league, though. That's what it feels like. Whenever that happens, you look at the score the next day, and it's nowhere near that run total. So I understand the point, but it's not like you obviously can't transfer those runs over to today, and you're trying to win the game yesterday. You're not just going to start looking at pitches that are down the middle that you can swing at, right? You're not just going to keep just bunt the whole time to get out and end the game, right? You're just scoring as many runs as you can, and try to win, put yourself in the best position to win that game. And they did that with Grisham's double that totally opened up the game last night when it was 11-6 and the game was over, especially with Taylor Rogers continuing to be in the game in the 9th inning. And by the way, I'll talk about this more on the episode on Sunday, probably Sunday night. I wasn't against the Padres' decision keeping Taylor Rogers in there in that 9th inning because he was only 8 pitches in entering the 9th because he came in the 8th to get that 4-out save. And he's already up. He's already thrown. To only have him throw 8 pitches, he can go back-to-back days if you need him to. They have an off day on Monday before the Philly series starts Tuesday, so it's not the end of the world if he goes back-to-back-to-back days. And I don't think he's been, overused this year, to be honest. And whenever he does pitch consecutive days or whatever, it feels like he goes 3 days without pitching. So he gets his rest. So I wasn't mad about that decision. Steve says, what if Cano hits well? Does he start? No, I don't think so. I mean, if Cano hits well and Cronenworth really struggles and Hosmer starts to struggle and Voigt struggles, okay, then maybe, yeah, he'll DH, But I don't think you see him playing the field every day. So DH, I guess, if Voigt, doesn't stay hot and Cano does get hot. But can he get hot? And if he hits well, do they still do that? Because he's going to get limited at bats as a pinch hitter. It's not like you can say, oh, he's hot. It's one at bat a game or one at bat every few games. So can you really judge if he's hot or not, or it was just a good at bat every day? Irie says, is Profar a Gold Glove this year or what? If you play defense like that, then you can have a near Mendoza line. Yes and no. I mean, yeah, Profar's arm's been good. His defense has definitely significantly improved from last year to this year. At least that's what it seems. Maybe he's just getting more opportunities, but his throwing has definitely improved. I know that. But in terms of the defense, and then you can have a near Mendoza line, not when you're hitting second. When you're hitting second, you got to have a better batting average than that, I think. You got to get on base more than that. You just got to hit better more than that. I'm not saying you have to be the way that he was the first couple weeks of the season, but you got to hit better than that when you're hitting second. Is part of that the Padres' fault for continuing to have him hit second? Maybe, but maybe they want more balance in the lineup and they want Kim down there at the bottom. They just want more. He's comfortable there. They want balance in the lineup. That's what I would say. Steve says, have you heard that Cronenworth doesn't want to play in the outfield? No, I have not. I've never heard anyone really talk about him playing the outfield. He's a second baseman. He's the Padres' second baseman. He was an all-star there last year. They're not moving him to the outfield. Especially for Cano. That's not happening. For a 39-year-old, they're not moving him to the outfield, I don't think. All right. I think that'll do it. Ben Fadden signing off here. Enjoy the game. I'll be back with a post-game video reaction on YouTube and the socials, at Talking Friars on Twitter for all those game highlights like I always do. This has been the Padres versus Braves pregame show for May 14th, 2022. See ya.